It's safe to say without the success of the first Iron Man, Marvel's grand plan of making superhero movies that adhere to one continuity would have crashed and burned. Thankfully, this has not happened, and the resulting movies coming out of Marvel's Phase 1 were, for the most part, spectacular. Iron Man 3 begins Phase 2 of Marvel's movies, meant to show a post-Avengers universe with bigger threats and more humbled heroes. Nowhere is this more apparent than in Tony Stark, who spent the last movie playing with God and is now realizing he doesn't quite know everything. Plagued by anxiety attacks resulting from the finale of the Avengers, Tony is lost in his work, making more Iron Man suits and slowly pushing away both Pepper and Happy Hogan. This, combined with a new business venture from Aldrich Killian and terrorist attacks from the enigmatic Mandarin, only adds stress to Tony's life, forcing him to confront his demons and come to grips with reality. From the beginning, you can tell that the new director Shane Black is doing something different than the previous two Iron Man films, and for the most part, he does manage to put a unique and well-assembled movie together. However, some parts do falter a little, mostly from the movie's rigid three-act structure. Rebecca Hall's Maya Hansen isn't really given much to do, and Act 1 spends a little too much time on exposition. Other than that, though, the movie is thoroughly entertaining and presents some fun new stories for Stark and company. By the second act, Tony is broken and beaten, and this is where the movie really picks up steam. Seeing Tony without his suit allows us to look at him differently, and his team up with a small child to find answers about the Mandarin's bombing attacks might be one of the best ways a child's sidekick has been handled in recent memory, effectively embracing and denying its existence with humor and charm. When everything comes together after the final battle, you become content with how this trilogy has ended, and you won't mind that it might close the door to future Iron Man movies. Now, perhaps the most controversial thing about this movie is its portrayal of the Mandarin, and while I kinda like the path they went with him, I can foresee a lot of people getting up in arms about it, and not just with comic book purists. I think it is important to realize, though, that the terrorism in this movie isn't meant to be as real or as hard-hitting as it was in, say, The Dark Knight, but rather more of a plot device, but that might be taken the wrong way in light of recent tragedies. Still, this movie is a great way to start off Phase 2 for Marvel, and here's hoping that the rest can be just as entertaining.